Here's the doorway nobody told you about. Master your daily process, and outcomes start chasing you. You want ease in your chest before deadlines, and clarity when plans spin unexpectedly. You download new apps, switch routines, and still wake with a racing mind. You're not broken. Your training plan is. You keep polishing the trophy while ignoring the muscles that lift it. Today, you retrain the muscles. Now then, let's get honest about the frustration you carry. You try to think positive, yet your thoughts scatter like birds at a car horn. You promise to start early, then noon arrives like a thief. You crave purpose, yet work feels like crossing sand with wet boots. Relief exists, but lives where you rarely look. Here's the promise, bold and practical. Shift attention from results to behaviors, and your nervous system learns safety again. Regulate your breath, and your thoughts obey the rhythm. Choose service over status, and loneliness loses oxygen. Act from your real values, and the path stops wobbling under your feet. You will not eliminate anxiety. You will teach it to sit quietly while you drive. That is your craft now. Attention is a muscle. Breath is the handle. Values are the steering wheel. Practice turns a panicked commute into a steady road trip. Quick pause. If this resonates, subscribe to Psichedeep. Turn on notifications, like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and drop a comment with the line that hit you most. Train the process, not the prize. Give your energy to the behavior in front of you, not the applause behind a curtain. Write one email, outline one paragraph, make one call. This is craftsmanship, not gambling. See a carpenter sanding a single board, unhurried, while the house quietly becomes inevitable. Breathe longer out than in. Your exhale signals safety to your brain, and your thoughts follow the slower drum. Sit for 2 minutes, in through your nose, out a little longer, counting each release. Let distractions pass like buses you refuse to board. Picture snow settling in a shaken globe, flakes dropping smoothly without your control. Name what you control, shelve the rest. Say aloud what belongs to you: effort, presence, tone, scheduling, recovery. Say aloud what doesn't: opinions, algorithms, weather, traffic, timelines. Place the uncontrollables in an imaginary box on a high shelf to check later. Watch the shelf recede like a mountain fading behind a moving train. Design a tiny starting line. Shrink the task until resistance grows bored and wanders away to bother someone else. Type a single messy sentence, stretch for 1 minute, send one clarifying message. Momentum births motivation far more reliably than motivation births momentum. See a small pebble rolling downhill, quietly waking an avalanche that terrifies nothing. Anchor attention to your senses. Call out 5 things you see, 4 you feel, 3 you hear, 2 you smell, 1 you taste. Panic lives in predictions. Peace lives in detectable signals from the room you inhabit. Bring thought back to touch, temperature, and sound, like a kite returning to your hand. Imagine plugging your mind into the wall, absorbing ordinary electricity without sparks. Move your body to move your brain. Walk hard for 5 minutes, stretch your hips, or do a few squats between tasks. Motion clears stale chemistry and returns blood to your thinking centers quickly. Your body is a pharmacy you already own if you visit the counter frequently. See blinds flying open, to let light flood a dusty room you forgot was bright. Create a worry window and close it. Give your mind a fixed daily slot labeled worst-case rehearsal. Then write concise next moves. Outside that window, promise to return later and enforce that promise with kindness. You are not ignoring fear. You are scheduling it like any loud contractor. Imagine a friendly clerk sorting letters into boxes, saving you from drowning in envelopes. Practice the one-page brain dump. When thoughts buzz like insects, empty them onto paper without grammar or judgment. Under each concern, write the smallest action a beginner could take today. Then pick one action and do it before your coffee cools. Picture opening a pressure valve and watching steam hiss out of a rattling pipe. Reset the stage before sleep. Clear your desk, lay out tomorrow's first tool, and put one distraction in another room. Your future self should enter a runway, not a maze. Set the first spotlight exactly where you intend to stand. See a quiet theater crew dressing the stage while the audience sleeps peacefully. Celebrate showing up, not finishing. Clap for minutes invested, not medals unearned. Identity grows where attention applauds, and you want to applaud what you control. Make a small ritual after each session. A mark, a smile, a breath. Imagine stickers spreading across a map, each one a mile walked toward sunrise. Track behaviors that match your values. Measure actions, not fantasies, because measurement turns fog into wood you can carry. Check the box when you acted, even if you delivered only a sliver. Consistency becomes visible, then comforting, then automatic. See tally marks carved into a workshop beam where quiet victories live like fingerprints. Break perfection with experiments. Call attempts trials, not verdicts, and harvest one lesson whenever results embarrass you. Rewrite the plan with that lesson and relaunch while the courage is still warm. Shame loses its grip when data becomes the hero. Imagine a kid tuning a kite, each clumsy crash shaping the future flight. Guard recovery like a professional. Schedule sleep, sunlight, and movement with the same seriousness as deadlines and deliverables. Exhaustion masquerades as failure, and rest unmasks your competence reliably. Your best work emerges from a stable nervous system, not caffeine and panic. See a marathoner sipping water often, never waiting for desperation to demand buckets. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. Viktor Frankl. Always remember, results are echoes. Behavior is the voice. Train the voice, and the echoes change. If this helped, subscribe to Psichedeep, share it with someone who needs steadiness, and tell me your first micro-action below. Trade your fear of change for a system that bends with you and never breaks. You crave stability, yet the world keeps pushing new deadlines, new tools, and new rules. You plan thoroughly, then a single email flips the table you set so carefully. You try to predict every outcome, and your mind burns fuel without moving the car. You are not the problem. Your map is. It worships destinations while ignoring the roads you actually drive each day. Here's the real promise. Detach from outcomes, and your effort becomes clean and strong again. Train processes that work on good days and bad days, not only perfect days. Honor what you control and release the rest without drama. Do this, and change stops feeling like a storm and starts feeling like wind in your sail. Choose the next brick. Aim your attention at the smallest controllable action in front of you right now. Write one message, fix one sentence, make one call, prep one slide. Let the future wait while you stack this brick with care. Picture a quiet mason building a wall while the city argues about architecture. Own the controllables. List what belongs to you: effort, tone, preparation, schedule, recovery, learning. List what does not: opinions, timelines, algorithms, weather, traffic, approvals. Act on the first list and shelve the second in your mental attic. Imagine placing heavy boxes on a high shelf and walking out lighter and straighter. Build tiny processes that survive bad days. Design default routines that work even when motivation arrives late and coffee runs weak. 2-minute cleanups, 1-sentence starts, 5-breath resets, 15-minute focus sprints. Bad day systems keep momentum alive when glamour disappears. See a runner jogging through drizzle, refusing to wait for summer to feel committed. Time box your uncertainty. Give decisions a short window and a clear threshold of information to gather. When the timer ends, choose a direction and schedule a review. Momentum grows when ambivalence stops renting the driver's seat. Picture a traffic light turning green and your foot finally presses without apology. Write process goals, not prize goals. Phrase targets as behaviors. Publish weekly, learn daily, train thrice, call 2 clients. Prizes depend on gates you don't control. Processes depend on hands you already own. Measure what you did, not what might happen. Imagine tally marks carved into wood, recording quiet reps instead of imaginary trophies. Rehearse chaos before it visits. Create simple if-then scripts for predictable disruptions and emotional potholes. If the meeting runs long, then move the workout to a brisk walk after dinner. If anxiety spikes, then breathe out longer and write one useful sentence. See yourself packing a compact raincoat. Clouds lose their talent for intimidation. Adopt the learner's posture. Call every attempt an experiment and demand a lesson from each result. When something fails, harvest one improvement and relaunch quickly while courage remains warm. Learners improve during storms. Performers hide under furniture. Picture a kid tuning a kite. Each crash refines angles until the wind says yes. Refactor your environment. Let your space whisper the behavior you want and mute everything else aggressively. Put the phone in another room during focused work. Block sites during core hours. Keep your tools visible and your temptations inconvenient. Imagine exiting a hallway where only one door opens and every other handle is rubber. Run daily reset loops. End days by tidying the desk, naming tomorrow's first step, and scheduling one recovery block. Your future self deserves a runway, not a maze scattered with yesterday's doubts. Resets compound into calm the way pennies compound into savings. Visualize a theater crew setting the first spotlight perfectly while the city sleeps. Carry a change budget. Reserve time and energy for the unexpected, the late call, the broken link, the surprise. Buffers prevent spirals because buffers speak patience into tense schedules. Protect them like cash you cannot spend lightly. See an envelope labeled emergencies, crisp bills untouched until the right storm arrives. Translate feelings into actions. When dread appears, give it one physical task to escort it outside. Walk briskly, stretch hips, or wash dishes with slow attention and long exhales. Chemistry shifts, then clarity returns on its own schedule. Picture opening blinds to a dim room and watching dust dissolve in sudden daylight. Track streaks without worshiping them. Keep the chain alive with minimum viable effort on ugly days and solid effort on bright days. If a day breaks, restart gently tomorrow without dramatic speeches or guilt. Consistency forgives you faster than perfection ever will. Imagine planting new seeds in the same soil, trusting that roots remember last season. Speak to yourself like a coach. Use directive, compassionate language that keeps responsibility and dignity intact. Say, breathe now, start small, finish one piece, review at noon. Coaching tones, reduce noise while preserving power. See a calm trainer at the corner of the ring, handing you water and clear instructions. Make meaning in motion. During change, ask which small act aligns with your values today. Then perform it. Service, craftsmanship, or curiosity can guide your hands when maps feel wrong. Meaning constructed in action steadies your steps for the next hill. Picture lighting a lantern while walking. The road reveals itself one honest yard at a time. You have the right to work, but not to the fruits of work. Bhagavad Gita. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. William James. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Remember always, outcomes are echoes. Process is the voice that makes them. Choose the next brick, own the controllables, and keep building while the weather changes. Change will keep arriving. Let it find you working calmly, hands steady, heart unafraid. Stop searching for belonging like a shopper. Build gravity so people naturally orbit your steady warmth. You feel surrounded by screens and still somehow uncontacted when Friday night gets quiet. Your group chats flicker with emojis, yet your stomach sinks after every scroll through perfect lives. You keep waiting for an invitation that never arrives, and the silence feels like judgment. You're not broken. Your strategy is passive. Belonging rarely appears to observers. Belonging grows around contributors who reliably show up. Begin with usefulness. Offer one practical favor each week without ceremony or invoices. Share a resource, edit a page, make an introduction, or deliver feedback gently. Service is connection's simplest door handle, and generosity oils the hinges. See yourself placing a bright candle in a window. Travelers spot the glow and approach smiling. Host micro-gatherings with low friction. Invite 2 people, 30 minutes, one theme, books, workouts, portfolios, job searches, or creative drafts. Small circles reduce pressure, raise safety, and let shy voices hear themselves clearly. Consistency matters more than spectacle. Make it monthly and keep snacks simple. Imagine a kitchen table with mismatched chairs becoming the neighborhood's favorite conversation lighthouse. Practice the 2-sentence check-in. Text a friend, thinking of you today. How's your week, really? Do not interrogate, invite. Listen without fixing, and reply with presence instead of speeches. Picture tapping a steady drum so a distant dancer knows the rhythm still welcomes them. Carry a personal help menu. List 3 ways you can assist quickly. Resume review, slide polish, dog walk, tech setup, or tutoring. Share the menu publicly with friends and coworkers so asking feels normal. When people know how you help, they actually ask. See a tiny food truck have favors parking on the corner, serving comfort on short notice. Show up predictably. Attend the class, the meetup, or the volunteer slot, even when motivation sulks. Predictability breeds trust, and trust breeds invitations before you ever ask. Be early, learn names, and notice small wins out loud. Visualize a lighthouse flashing at exact intervals. Boats plan routes because reliability calms the sea. Tell stories that include others. When you share progress, name the helpers, mentors, and peers who made it possible. Shift the spotlight into a warm circle and invite everyone under it. Generous storytelling turns acquaintances into allies. Imagine the movie credits rolling longer while the audience claps for names beyond the star. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Mahatma Gandhi. Ask better small questions. Replace "How are you?" with "What was the best 3 minutes of your day?" Curiosity unlocks doors. Small talk never finds, and people bloom when asked to remember joy. Follow with, "How can this week be 2% kinder?" See a gardener kneeling beside a plant, asking the soil what it needs to breathe. Share your learning out loud. Post short notes after a course, book, or failure, translating insights into clear, human language. You teach to remember, and you remember to contribute again. Learners attract learners. Circles form around evolving minds. Picture pinning handwritten cards on a bulletin board. Curious neighbors gather to copy the recipes. Volunteer where effort touches faces. Choose a place where your hands matter. Shelters, clinics, schools, park cleanups, neighborhood committees. Visible help erases invisible loneliness because eyes meet and stories cross the air. Let your calendar smell like real life, not just pixels. Imagine handing a warm bowl to someone. Steam rises and fogs the distance between hearts. Lower the bar for belonging. Invite a walk instead of a dinner, a working session instead of a party. Fewer logistics means more yeses, and more yeses mean more shared memories. Connection thrives when expectations shrink and sincerity expands. Picture two people matching steps on a sidewalk, street lights setting a rhythm softer than applause. Build collaboration tokens. Create small shared artifacts, a reading list, a public template, a community playlist, a weekly prompt. Artifacts give people reasons to return and something tangible to improve together. Ownership becomes a circle, not a podium. See a quilt stitched from many hands, each square signed by a grateful thread. Follow through like a pro. When you promise a thing, do that thing, even if silently and a day later. Reliability is rare enough to feel like magic. Let people relax near your word. Trust compounds faster than charm. Imagine a bridge you test once and then cross without thinking for 10 solid years. Remember names. Remember details. Write them down if you must. Memory is care's first currency. Ask about the exam, the move, the parent, the pet, the painting half finished. People feel seen when their specifics return to the daylight. Picture a librarian sliding a book from the shelf. Exactly the title you needed today. Practice boundary kindness. Say no with warmth and alternatives. I can't this week, but Saturday morning works. Boundaries protect the energy that fuels your service and your smile. Honesty sustains relationships. People trust what they can predict. Imagine pruning a rose bush so remaining blooms receive sunlight, water, and the bees' quiet applause. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Helen Keller. Create a sanctuary for connection. Design phone-free dinners, mindful walks, or co-working hours where attention is the gift exchanged. Protect those spaces like sacred ground, not performative retreats. Connection deepens when presence no longer competes with buzzing rectangles. See a wooden table lit by a soft lamp, conversation drifting like steam into grateful air. Turn loneliness into leadership. If the space you crave doesn't exist, draft a simple charter and start it small. 2 consistent humans beat 50 inconsistent signups every time. Lead with service, not slogans. Let usefulness be your marketing. Picture planting a sapling in a shared courtyard. Neighbors water it because shade is coming. The best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer somebody else up. Mark Twain. Remember always, you do not find community, you build community. You do not wait for belonging, you practice belonging. Offer usefulness, show up predictably, and speak names with care. When contribution becomes your habit, loneliness loses its favorite room and quietly moves out. Stop waiting for lightning. Build a campfire you can carry through storms, wind, and long nights. You keep hunting passion like a rare animal that refuses your bait and calendar. You jump from idea to idea, feeling clever by morning and hollow by evening again. You ask for signs, yet your days deliver silence, spreadsheets, and faint Sunday night dread. You're not lost, you are underlit. Purpose brightens when you feed it small, honest sticks, not speeches and slogans. Write your energy ledger. List what gives you energy and what quietly drains you after ordinary days at work. Track patterns across weeks, not moods across minutes, because purpose hides in repeating grooves. The calendar is your X-ray. Trust its shadows and highlights more than hopeful guesses. Imagine using a highlighter pen on your schedule, glowing wherever your soul breathes easier. Choose values you can prove daily. Pick 3 values that show up as behaviors, not posters. Kindness, craftsmanship, curiosity, or courage. Translate each value into one simple action you can perform, even on bad, rainy Tuesdays. Values become real when your hands move, not when your notes sparkle with underlines. Picture sewing patches onto a jacket, each patch earned through weather and long sidewalks. Name your unfair advantages. Identify skills, experiences, or quirks that feel natural to you while exhausting other people quickly. Combine 2 or 3 into a shape that invites specific opportunities to knock on your door. People recognize outlines faster than resumes filled with shiny but disconnected lines. See a unique key cut from odd angles, opening a door with an easy, quiet twist. Sketch a 90-day mission you can carry. Frame the mission with process verbs, not prize nouns, so momentum survives boring afternoons faithfully. Define tiny checkpoints, weekly reviews, and one public artifact that demonstrates progress with dignity. Let the mission transform your habits more than your title, audience, or external applause. Imagine hiking toward a ridge while the view steadily instructs your next careful step. Say no like a steward, not a rebel. Decline commitments that dilute your mission, even when they flatter your ego generously and loudly. Protect creative hours as if they feed a village you love more than applause. Your best yes grows in the shade created by disciplined, compassionate, repeated no's. Think of pruning a rose bush, so remaining blooms drink sunlight, water, and the bee's devotion. Prototype identity safely. Test the next version of you in low-risk arenas that forgive clumsy attempts and early stumbles. Volunteer for a role, launch a tiny project, teach 5 people, or shadow someone generous for hours. Learning before leaping preserves rent money, courage, and friendships still growing their roots. See yourself trying on helmets in a shop, returning each carefully until one fits perfectly. Tell the truth faster. When your work feels off, name it kindly and early before friction multiplies inside schedules. Truth saves seasons, while polite avoidance quietly taxes your energy and fogs your direction. Speak with respect and specificity, then adjust your map by 1 honest degree today. Picture clearing gravel from a skating path, freeing your glide for the next bright block. Create a legacy loop. End every week asking 2 questions. Who benefited? And how can next week serve better? Record answers in 1 sentence, then choose a micro upgrade for generosity or craftsmanship tomorrow morning. Legacy is repeated usefulness, not monuments built from borrowed adjectives and glitter. Imagine carving small marks on a tree, each groove a story someone else can lean on. Turn comparison into calibration. When envy pricks, list the skills behind what you admire. Then schedule 1 deliberate practice block. Comparison becomes a compass when you convert pain into plans instead of spirals and sighs. You can honor excellence without dissolving your own particular outline and strange melody. Visualize tuning a guitar beside another musician, finding your note without stealing theirs. Design constraints to sharpen your art. Set limits on time, scope, materials, or audience to force clarity and faithful execution repeatedly. Constraint invites creativity because wandering narrows into walking, and walking comes finishing. Your brain loves guardrails when the road bends under fog and early morning drizzle. Picture a river moving faster where the banks draw closer and the water sings. Make meaning through service, not spectacle. Choose 1 useful contribution where your strengths meet someone's real, immediate, human problem. Service clarifies motives, trims ego, and returns feedback that shapes your next brave iteration. Purpose grows sturdy whenever a face replaces an abstract metric on your dashboard. See yourself handing a warm bowl to cold hands. Steam erases the remaining distance. Establish a failure gallery you proudly revisit. List attempts, outcomes, and lessons like labels beneath cracked pots, learning to hold water. Review monthly without drama, harvesting techniques, relationships, and resilience for future experiments. Shame dissolves when artifacts teach more than they accuse your heart of being small. Imagine a quiet museum where each broken piece explains the path toward the master's shelf. Craft a 2-sentence purpose you can carry. Describe who you help and how, using verbs that survive chaos, travel, and unexpected Mondays. When decisions appear, hold them beside this phrase and notice which option warms your chest. A portable purpose reduces decision fatigue and guards your energy like a seasoned bodyguard. Picture a pocket compass you tap during fog, needle steady, pointing you home again. Ritualize recovery as if it were sacred. Purpose burns clean when sleep, light, movement, and stillness Refuel your nervous system faithfully. Schedule recovery blocks with the same discipline you reserve for deadlines and public performances. Rest is not retreat. Rest is refinement for tomorrow's more generous, precise expression. Envision a craftsman oiling tools nightly, blades shining under lamplight before another honest morning. Close the day by resetting the stage. Prepare tomorrow's first action. Clear your workspace and move one distraction outside your reach. Your future self deserves a runway, not a maze built from yesterday's unanswered whispers. Tiny resets become a rhythm your nervous system recognizes as safety, courage, and quiet competence. See a theater crew placing the first spotlight exactly where your next line begins. Better to fail at your own duty than succeed at another's. Bhagavad Gita. What lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. William James. Remember always, purpose is not a performance. Purpose is a pattern, repeated with care and honesty. Keep feeding the campfire with small sticks you can carry, even when weather changes suddenly. Walk forward, light, steady, hands sure, and let tomorrow recognize the outline you chose today. Trade finish line fantasies for a rhythm you can carry into storms, deadlines, and restless nights. You start strong on Monday and stall by Thursday, wondering where the fire actually went. You binge advice, stack new habits, and still feel fragile when one plan changes suddenly. You chase certainty, yet your attention scatters like birds every time the phone lights up. You are not weak. Your systems are loud and complicated. Now then, you will build simple loops that hold you steady when the world tilts. Make the morning your quiet coach. Wake before the noise and claim 10 minutes for breath, stretch, and 3 clear behaviors. Keep each behavior specific and small because momentum loves concrete edges and forgiving starts. Let the exhale be longer than the inhale, training your body to trust the day. Picture striking a single match in darkness, then watching a small lantern reveal the first step. Carry a 2-line compass. Write who you help and how, using verbs you can do even on difficult days. Keep the card visible where decisions happen and measure ideas against your compass honestly. When tempted by applause, return to usefulness and the work your hands respect. See a pocket compass tapped in fog, the needle settling toward a reliable, true north. Guard the space between stimulus and response. When a trigger arrives, slow down your exhale and label the feeling without dramatic speeches. Ask, what is the smallest helpful action available right now? Then do exactly that. You do not need a miracle. You need a specific next move and steady breath. Imagine a driver easing off the gas before a curve, letting the tires grip the road. Turn outcomes into echoes. Focus on process goals you control, not trophies that depend on shifting gates and opinions. Check the box for showing up, not for impressing strangers who never saw your practice. Echoes arrive when the voice stays trained and consistent across surprising weather. Picture shouting into a canyon daily. The echo grows clearer as your tone becomes true. Rehearse breakdowns before they visit. Write tiny if-then scripts for predictable chaos and store them where you actually look. If meetings overrun, then walk after dinner and stretch hips while the kettle sings. If anxiety spikes, Then breathe longer out and write one sentence that serves someone. See a folded raincoat tucked in your bag, shrinking thunder's talent for intimidation. Design your room to whisper discipline. Place tools within reach and temptations one room away during your protected work block. Use blockers during core hours and leave one friction-free path to the task that matters. Your environment should nudge you like a kind friend, not wrestle you like a rival. Imagine a hallway where only one door opens and every other handle turns into rubber. Teach what you just learned. Right after reading or failing, explain the lesson in plain language to a real human. Teaching locks memory, exposes confusion, and attracts collaborators who strengthen your progress. The brain loves closing loops through contribution, not hoarding clever notes alone. Picture pinning a hand-sketched recipe on a community board. Neighbors gather with eager pens, serve to stabilize the soul. When meaning feels thin, help someone in ways your strengths can sustain weakly. Service shrinks self-obsession and feeds purpose with faces, names, and grateful replies. Belonging grows where usefulness repeats without applause or clever hashtags. See yourself handing a warm bowl across a counter. Steam erases the distance between hearts. Recovery on the calendar, not the wish list. Schedule sleep, sunlight, movement, and moments of stillness as non-negotiable appointments. Exhaustion masquerades as failure. Rest reveals competence and returns creative rhythm. Your best work emerges from a nervous system that trusts you with effort. Picture a craftsman oiling tools at dusk, blades shining for another honest morning. Translate envy into practice blocks. When comparison stings, list the skills you admire and schedule deliberate practice today. Turn ache into action and let respect replace resentment while your craft deepens. You can honor excellence without erasing your distinct outline and voice. See two musicians tuning nearby, each finding their note without stealing the other's melody. Close the day by resetting the stage. Clear your space, choose tomorrow's first concrete action, and move one distraction elsewhere. Your future self deserves a runway, not a maze built from today's scattered tools. Tiny resets multiplied across weeks become calm you can feel in your bones. Imagine a theater crew placing the first spotlight exactly where your next line begins. Celebrate boring consistency like a pro. Clap for the minutes you trained, not the medals you imagined between yawns and scrolling. Identity grows where attention applauds, so applaud what you actually control. Repetition is not punishment. Repetition is identity rehearsal with kinder lighting. Picture stickers spread across a calendar, a constellation charting your steady northern star. Keep a failure gallery you respectfully visit. List trials, outcomes, and harvested lessons, then reread without shame each month. Progress accelerates when artifacts teach more than they accuse your character. Data replaces drama, and courage stops waiting for permission again. See a small museum of cracked pots, each label explaining how water finally stayed. Return to breath whenever you feel lost. Make exhale longer than inhale. Your universal key when attention shakes and fear speaks loudly. Breath is the handle to your chemistry. Chemistry shapes your choices reliably. You control that handle anywhere, even standing in line beneath fluorescent lights. Picture fog lifting from a lake at sunrise, revealing the far shore you always knew. You have a right to your actions, but never to your fruits. Bhagavad Gita. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. Viktor Frankl. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. William James. Remember always, results are echoes. Process is the voice. Breath is the handle. And service is the anchor. Choose the next helpful action. Align it with your values. And repeat until calm becomes your accent. When storms return, you will not bargain with the weather. You will trust your rhythm and proceed. If this video helped, subscribe to Psichedeep. Turn on notifications, like the video, share it with someone who needs a steady voice, and leave a comment with the habit you'll start today.